Thank you, sir. Now, this was a research project, very similar to what you did, Jamil. And I thought to myself, what should I be researching? I thought, well, the meaning of life. Chinese trigonometry with the left hand. But there were so many subjects I couldn't quite seem to spend the time on, but I got to thinking about this word at about 2 o'clock in the morning, where all my great ideas come from. The meaning of the word okay. We all use that word. Every day you hear the word okay. I'm thinking, where did the word okay come from? And it puzzled me. I had to know, and I thought, what a perfect subject for me to use as a research project and inform my audience of the meaning of the word okay. It's a mighty word. It's a short little word with only actually 2 letters in it, okay. Now sometimes it's spelled this way, but it's a mighty word. It's like the Swiss Army knife of words. Now, it can also be an adjective. Shane, can you read that from there?
Yeah.
Would you share that with this audience? What does it mean here?
Satisfactory, but not exceptionally or especially good.
Just okay. Have you ever heard that? It's just okay. That was an okay speech, Frank. An adjective. But it can also be an adverb. Terry, can you read that from there?
Yes. In a satisfactory manner or to a satisfactory extent.
Okay, so the computer continues to work okay. That's kind of a wishy-washy word, is it not? How about this one? Chris, would you read that for us? It's a noun.
Authorization of approval. Do you know how long it takes for those pencil pushers to give us the okay?
The okay. See how it's used there as a noun? How about a verb? Julie, can you read that from there?
To sanction or give approval to. The governor recently okayed the execution of a man who had committed murder.
Okay, the governor recently okayed. So what a word. It's got 4 different uses in the English language. But in the beginning, how in the world did it get started? Now this is what drove me nuts. I thought it might be an ancient Greek word, or maybe it came out of Latin somehow. But it actually started in about 1839 when the Boston Morning Post wrote an article about the anti-bell ringers. Now these bell ringers would go through Boston and they would tell you when to have lunch, when to go to sleep, when to get up, and they'd ring these doggone bells, and people just got tired of it and quit ringing the damn bells. So the Morning Post wrote this article, and back in that day, they would play kind of like a word game like we do with texting. LOL, you get what I'm talking about? So they took all correct, and it came out as oil correct. Just a weird spin. They thought it was really funny. I thought it was kind of weird. But that's how this got started with this incident right here. Well, it wasn't long after that, in 1840, when President Andrew Jackson, and he went to the same high school I did in New Mexico, and we didn't learn to spell very well, but when he wrote a document out, he couldn't spell at all. And his spelling of all correct came out as all correct. He was a real bad speller. And that people kind of made fun of that because he was such a bad speller. Well, right after, his next successor was Martin Van Buren. What a handsome man he was. And in that election, because of the fact that he came from a place called Kinderhook, New York, they started calling him Old Kinderhook. And his supporters kind of took that old K, that old Kinderhook, and they turned it into, they formed the OK Club. This is a true story. I researched all this. It's all fact. So they formed the OK Club, and they were so proud of themselves. However, his opponents, candidate Harrison, they took that OK and they turned it into something that went like out of cash. That would be kind of funny. And also, he was awfully confused, and it came OK. That's how this got started. So it wasn't much longer after that, they'd come to the telegraph. Now, how many people have ever done a telegraph, sent a telegraph? It's expensive, is it not? And back in the day, the words were mighty. So you wanted to send as few words as you could possibly send. Here's an example right here. It says, leaving today, glad to see you on the train, Harry. That was it. And that probably cost about $5 in those days, but it was important because you could send that from New York to California. So economy of words was very important. Do we still do that today? Look at this. Okay, what's LOL? Laugh out loud. What's OMG?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. What's LMK?
Let me know.
And yes, what's the last one? Just never mind. So we still use the economy of words, and that's why okay is still a powerful word. But wait, there's more. They also figured out that 0 killed. That's okay. This was during the Civil War. That was a good day when nobody got shot. So that was one of the things that used okay for. It was also a military term, meaning that the troops are in good shape. It goes back to that all correct type spelling. Then shipbuilders used it on the outer timber on the keel, and they would put OK on those timbers to make sure that those went onto the outer keel of a ship. So they started using the OK brand. Also in Mandingo, it also means okay. But also, how about hand jive? You ever see this? What does this mean? Okay, it's okay. How about this? In Japan, it means money. However, if you go to France, it means 0. It means absolutely worthless. Or if you go to Brazil, it's the middle finger. Oh. So be careful when you go to Brazil, you don't do this. And in Italy, in the Middle East, and in Greece, Terry, you should know this, is that means you're an anus. Don't do that in Greece. However, the planes engines of the United States would represent the rising of the sun and the setting of the sun. And they used this figure to determine, to acknowledge the sun. Now, let's go a little bit further. Before that, we had good, we had fine, we had satisfactory, hey, everything's okay. But when okay got into place, it became okie dokie, it became oakley dokley, remember this guy over here? And just a-okay. So we've really done a lot of spins on this word okay. However, there's a book out called A-OK, and this ties into your presentation, Jamil. I hate that word okay, because okay is the first cousin of mediocrity. I can't stand being mediocrity. What we are is we are truly amazing. We are not just okay. Can you guys give me a big hallelujah on that we're amazing? Hallelujah, yes. Yeah, we are not okay. Thank you so much. That was an okay speech.